Okay, today we're going to talk about what could go right. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream, and today we're going to have a little bit of a chat about while it's all well and good, prudent, sensible and intelligent to be aware of what could go wrong. I just feel online is just a sea of victimhood, negativity, and what about, and what if. And I get the feeling even if you handed someone the perfect lottery win of a life, they would find something to complain about. They would act like someone from Boston. Not hating on Boston people, but they would get the joke. Anyway, let me have a look at who's on. Prince Revolver, how are you, dude? Let me get a live chat going. Just so. I think my monitor, Prince Revolver, is it's a Samsung. I can't remember. It's got one of those long names. And I bought it about 4 years ago. And it's one of those things where you buy it and you can't go back. I was going to buy a couple of monitors. And I thought, I don't want to buy this one because it's not as tall as some of the big monitors you can get. And you can stack two monitors together. But really, having one long curved screen where you can put like 3 screens and you don't have to kind of go from one to the other. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Having multiple screens open. You work on something in the middle and you have things on the side. It's, I can't recommend it enough. It's one of the big purchase things that I would never feel like I wasted money on. There are some things you buy, like there's been a camera or two or a lens, or especially lenses, that sometimes cost half, if not the same price as this monitor. And they're great, but you don't use them. If you use it, you don't feel any kind of guilt. But, hey, Luke, Phil. But, let me first, let me respond to some of the comments on a post I did a little while ago. I responded to most of them. There are a couple of newer ones. And the post was for this thing here. What advice would you give to your younger self? And where is it? There was a good comment here. Here, the ones that I haven't clicked on. Try to be as free as possible. That's connected to today's discussion about not being overly safe. Prudent, safe enough, good enough, give it a shot. With your eyes open. I would highly recommend, I've said this before, where if you're always thinking about skydiving and it's something that really attracts you and you want to do it, and the stats of anything going wrong are very low, and all it is fear, then do it the safest way possible. If that's what you want to do it. And it's the same. I'll get my head up here. It's the same with people who want to have children. I don't, right? But objectively speaking, you talk to a guy, he genuinely just wants to have children and a family. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter how easily I can point out the negatives. Because it's easy to point out the negatives to other people in a self-righteous way where you've got no skin in the game. So it's really easy to discourage someone because you're not being aware of who you're talking to. You're not talking to a version of yourself. You need to pay attention to the person you're talking to. So while I don't like to give advice generally, one size fits all, if I listen and I notice that the person really wants something and they are a certain type of person, I will try and offer some sort of soundboard to them and a discussion that will help them get what they want. Because what they want is normal, or you can tell it puts a shine in their eyes and it's what they live for. So the people that are overly negative online, the keyboard warriors, the trolls in the comments, the ones that are always just watching the drama online, people fighting. I often ask people, let me see the homepage. Let me see the homepage feed of your YouTube channel. Let me have a look at what you're being fed, and I'll be able to tell a lot about the kind of person you are. Zaman says, try to be as free as possible. Don't argue with idiots. Yes, I need to keep reminding myself of this, because I kind of go to defend myself and what I believe in and clarify myself and what I believe in. And sometimes you have to remind yourself you are trying to clarify yourself to people who just don't care, and they're online for fun and tearing each other apart like schoolgirls. Yet you think they're honestly trying to debate or trying to have a conversation with you. If somebody tells you something that doesn't make any sense, don't spend years trying to make it make sense. Yep. Yeah, especially ex-girlfriends. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. But you should know. I know I said this, but I meant that. It doesn't make sense. What do you want? I want, like, vibing and whatever, and why do we have to talk about this? And you think too much and you're too serious. And anyway, nobody's going to save you when you're up to your neck in shit. Yes, people look out for themselves. People really don't care that much about you. And it's not in a malicious way, but I think more guys are trained to be protectors and providers and think of others and take care of their families and care about their fathers and mothers and all this stuff, which is great. But they leave themselves the crumbs of if there's any crumbs left after they've given everything to the world and everything outside of them. That's why a lot of guys don't have any self-respect. If there's anything left over, like, you don't even know how to give yourself self-respect. Every validation comes externally from other people after you've fed them. And guys are proud of, like, well, I don't need to be fed. I'll pay for that. I'll lift that. I'll do that. And you're not even aware if you're being used. You just think, well, I can say I'm a great guy that bears the heaviest loads. Yeah, that's noble for people that respect you and for people that are, are balanced. There's a fair tennis match going on back and forth between these people and you. Then you're not being used, and you objectively have nothing to be ashamed of. The shame that guys feel by doing the right thing, not feeling good about it, even though people are giving them praise, when guys empty themselves out for the praise of people who are using them, yet the intelligent guy goes away from that, can't sleep at night, and he just feels like there's something wrong because he won't let himself look at how much he's being used. So he just thinks, I'll just keep doing more and more and they'll be happy. How many times in your personal life, whether it's platonic friendships or romantic relationships, you keep giving and giving and giving and listening and understanding and doing what they ask, and they're always upset at you. There's something you're doing wrong, not enough. You didn't call, you didn't do this. You should have known this. That's shameful. It's like, I didn't actually do anything wrong. I'm always, even if I do what's right, it's not enough. It's not done the right way, or I should have known the right way. And say you're told the right way. Next time you do it, it's like, well, no, now it's changed. You should have known. Like, what are you, an idiot, a child? You should have known that when it was this, this, and this, it's this. It's like, well, I don't know anymore. And you get demoralized as a guy by not guessing right. And I understand fully why a lot of men especially, but anyone, gets tired of playing mind-reading emotional games of toddlers that are living in Narnia. I feel this. Well, great. Communicate it to me logically so I understand what you feel. Oh, no, well, I don't know how. Well, that's your problem. Well, you should know. No, I shouldn't. I don't have a wire from my emotions to yours to accurately see what's going on. I don't. It's why I often talk about communication is the lifeblood, the center of everything, whether it's the way you communicate with yourself first and foremost, how you speak, but especially between you and other people. You'll be seen clearly. You'll feel proud of yourself because you communicated better. They have no option but to hear and see you accurately. And if they don't, they're just being petulant. How many times do you want me to repeat clear, vernacular, grammar, and communication to you, and you still think it's my fault, you 3-year-old? At some point, we have to stop being so sympathetic and giving and giving and giving. And I understand a lot of times that you, especially as a guy, it feels good to give. So you extend the first olive branch. You assume you're dealing with fair people because someone has to first. And I have no problem with that. But if you just see someone's playing this pushback game of, I can't be bothered communicating, I just see my solipsistic world and I'm not listening to your objective conversation in real time, then you have to tell children enough at some point. I hope that made sense. If you would like to ask me a question during this stream, please add 3 emojis like, how do I have to do this in reverse. I'm terrible at this. Add 3 yellow smiley faces before your question, please. Before 3 emojis, any emojis, but preferably smiley faces. And I'll do my best to address the comment. Hi, Peg, Neanderthal, regulars. Okay, funny. Look, I think we should all have a sense of humor. You make a joke about men and me, I'll laugh too, right? I think a big part of the world being less intelligent is like people don't have a sense of humor. If you know I'm not being hateful, stop being triggered by everything. You're starting to lean into the woke crowd that wants to stand out by fainting. And everyone going, oh my God, huddle around this person and wave some fans and make them feel better. Why does my camera look like it's about to tip over? Anyway. Okay. All right, did you... let's see. I'm not talking politics. I'm not interested in politics, guys. Hello, everyone. You're getting old. I am old. Yes, this monitor's the ultra wide. It is, but I don't know the model number. Actually, what I can do, let me have a look. I think I've got the latest driver I downloaded like a little while ago. And it's got the model number there, I think. No. Drivers. No. No. Video. Should be there, but it's not. Nah, sorry. Oh, actually, what I can do. Kara will be saying this. Just look at your properties, dude, and click on monitor. Monitor. Display settings. Here we go. More about HDR. Not display. Graphics. Advanced display. It's just using a standard display driver because I couldn't find. Anyway. I don't know, man. It's got a weird name. It's the Samsung Ultra Wide. They usually got numbers. This has got a number plus another word that's supposed to be about art or design or something. So the resolution is 51 something by whatever, 1366 So it's taller than 1080, so the resolution's higher than 1080p vertically, and horizontally it's way bigger. So it's pretty good. And the refresh rate, I think, is 120 hertz. Anyway. All right. I read an article that stated more women cheat on men than men cheat on women in Western countries. Do you think this is accurate? I would lean into probably slightly more, but I don't think it's as much as guys believe. Like, you know, the studies that they keep going to in terms of Tinder, like 90% of the women are going after 10% of the men. I think that's generally, like, you can lean towards that side. It's like generally accurate, but not really precisely accurate. I would say people need to cheat with someone, and women tend to go for the top tier of men. I think women are better at hiding and being okay with hiding and lying and not revealing the truth about things. But I don't know. At the end of the day, all of these stats, they are interesting, but also they can cloud your personal judgment. And I'm always look, there's nothing wrong, and it's actually prudent to look at information in areas that you know little about, and you're getting, and you want to relate to it generally. So say you're going to visit Mexico. You generally look at how you're going to deal with strangers and the general population, and you dealing with general Mexico and general Mexican people. But when you're dating, this is the misleading thing. It's prudent to understand female nature and a lot of things that used to kind of confuse you and you couldn't make heads or tails. Understanding female nature, how women think and compared to how men think. It's useful, but also useful to know how you think as a male, how you differ from the average male, what you particularly want. Knowing what you're like makes the biggest deal for success in a relationship. Knowing how men and women generally react and what the stats are, it's interesting, but it doesn't make a big dent, as much of a big dent in your dating life as you would think, especially if you're much more stubbornly individualistic and you want what you want and you know who you are much more than the average guy. The average guy that just barracks for a football team, likes the average stuff, drinks beer, drives too fast, has the same inability to defer gratification. He's into the same things that most other guys are into. He's much less particular and individualistic than, I'd say, you or I, if you're watching my videos and listening to this live stream, then it applies to you less. And so I would say that even if women slightly cheat more than men, who cares when you're trying to pick someone that you don't want to cheat on you? So obviously there are an amount of women that don't. And I would say the only prudent way to know how much you can trust the particular woman you want to go out with is to spend enough time with her that you can reasonably trust her and bring her closer and closer and trust her. And like I said, if you want to have children, how much time do you have to spend with her without her nagging you and you making the decision to have the life you want with this woman the way you want it when you want it? What does that look like for you? How long do you need to trust her? Because there is also the thing of, I've been in multi-year relationships in the past with girls where it didn't go beyond a certain point. I couldn't even bring myself to say I love them. And I thought, oh, one day. But it never got beyond that. We'd known as much about each other as possible after a few months to a year, and it just never moved from there. And we could never trust each other anymore. We said the words, we spent time together, but we never wanted to move in with each other. We never wanted to say certain things. We kept relatively separate lives. And it never went any further than I hoped it would, like months, into the relationship. So you really need to pay attention to yourself. All the information about men and women is interesting, but then if that's all you got to go on, you can stay in a relationship with a general woman like I have in my past that isn't compatible with me, going off the data and just keeping a distance that's good enough to stay with a person where you feel safe. But there's a big difference where you meet a person that's really compatible with you, like me meeting Stephanie, and noticing I want very different things. There are things that I was very clear about not wanting with previous partners, and sensibly so. And now I definitely want to do this with Stephanie, and not a chance with any of my other exes. Why? Because I didn't trust them. I could go through the little details and, well, she never said this, or she didn't do this, or didn't show me this. But if you know what you want more, you recognize what you want in another person more. Because I can meet someone that's polite and nice and we have a good time, but I'm not going to push her to be the person I want her to be and to have a lifestyle and morals the way I want. And the more I know myself and know what I want, then every experience will solidify my ethics better with the next person, that I'll notice that she's great, she's pretty, she's a lot like, one or two of my exes. I know I'll have a great time dating them, but I know it's not going to go any further because they don't have some of the core inner world ethical, moral centers that I really need. You know what it's like? It's the best I can describe it is when I'm on my own, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree with this, I like my life on my own. Stephanie's the first person that I met where being with her just feels like my own life. It just really does. Whereas the other girls, they were great. It was like being on a wonderful holiday. And it's like palm trees, pineapples, coconuts, fun, freedom, don't have to worry. I feel completely free. But after a few weeks, it's like, okay, enough of this. This isn't me. I feel like going home. This doesn't feel like home anymore. And I've used this analogy, and I keep repeating it because I think it's the best metaphor to understand how you feel with someone. It can be great, like going to your bucket list favorite holiday destination. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. You go there, spend as long as you want there, right? Weeks, months. This is usually the honeymoon period. But then you notice after a while, it's like, this is a holiday. This is a fantasy. This is not home. Like if I think about really living here, it's like this custom and taxes and stuff. And like, I don't want to look at this. And I don't like how they do this and the weather and whatever. It's like, this isn't me. This is the best vacation I've ever had in my life. And I'll come back here again maybe. But this isn't home. You have to know what home feels like. So take the stats about general women, and women take the general stats about general men. Know who you are. Stop leaning on stats and data and politics to speak for you when you're too lazy to know what you want and be reasonable with another person so that you can feel compatibility and fairness and thus trust somebody, and you know you can trust them and you can state why you trust them. Because I think a lot of people online, they point to these stats as surefire ways of pointing out ethics and morals that they have. Well, I'm not dating any woman because stats show this, and no matter what you think, every woman has the possibility of doing this. It's all negative, negative, negative. But it's something refreshing about you see a couple that's they're really friends, or a guy that's got a life, even if it's on his own. He loves his life. He sleeps well. He's healthy. He's enjoying it. And he can tell you why it works for him. And you can listen to this, right? A single guy, he's monk, lives in the woods, got a dog. He's got a great life. And you know he's got a great life. And the way he speaks to you about it is wonderful. You really believe he believes his life is wonderful, and it is, the way he speaks about it. There's no denying it. And I could say to that guy, well, dude, living on your own, human beings are social animals. What happens if you hurt yourself? What happens? Like, I can throw any negativity I want, but this guy, I need to step outside of my own biases and realize that this single guy living alone, not a care in the world and smiling and not putting anything on me, he's enjoying his life. Why do I have to impose negativity on objectively a great life that he's having? And it's the same when you see happy couples. You see people doing it the right way. You see guys who have courage and they're going out there, whether it's business, relationships, and they're doing it the right way. They're not sitting there waiting for the stats to speak for them and say, see, I'm dating the right person, fellas. Look at the checklist. She's high value female. It's like, yeah, all of your friends have to justify your decision. Great. I don't think that relationship's going to last because you don't know who you are and what you want. Why is she even with you? Do you even understand, like, if you don't know who you are and you're scared and timid and walking on eggshells all the time, no wonder she feels the same way. She could be a blueprint of you. Two insecure people who don't know what they want and aren't calm and stable. It's going to fall apart. You are just two nice, insecure, polite people who are raised with etiquette, who are scared inside and don't really know if they're with the right person. Do you understand what I mean? Prince Revolver, thank you very much for the super chat. Human, what's your take on fear-mongering? So many videos on YouTube, especially political videos, as well as dating, come with instilling fear into people. Yeah, that's the way they get people to buy their product, buy their course. If you want to be happy, click the link here, and here's my course, and I've helped so many people. Bitcoin, or if you haven't done this by now, there's some catastrophe coming in 5 years politically, the stuff happening around the world. And if you don't do this now, let me instill fear in you. You'll be sorry. If you don't do this, if you're with a woman and this happens, get out now. It's all this fear to get you engaged with fear. There's no engagement with rational optimism or, going a certain way proudly and constructively doing. It's all destructive attention, not constructive attention. They'll tell you, well, I'm making you notice with fear, but that's the way the worst managers manage in business. They manage you with fear, not with respectful neutrality or at least some sort of positivity. You're not going to get people to do more in life by negativity. Managers just get the bare minimum by treating their employees with fear. Online, if you're just watching fear and calibrating yourself to that, just recognize that's how you're being conditioned. And you're saying, I'm being smart, but you're always fearful and barricading yourself. If you're watching dating material about and that fear-mongering, as you mentioned, Prince Revolver, then you're always got the fear magnifying glass, your survival instinct, where human beings are built to survive, and the media, politics, and everything out there, your entertainment is pressing that button because it's the first response of a human being, to be calibrated by fear first. You could have the most lighthearted, entertaining thing, like I'm watching a fun vlog, but then as soon as I notice something with fear, my instinct goes to the fear. I can't watch entertainment. I can't feel good until I address the fear. And all online does is interrupt with fear and stimulate that survival response all the time, because until you feel safe, you won't relax and enjoy positive direction or entertainment or a fun conversation. So it's the sales tactic today online especially is hit the fear button, because that overrides everything. And if you don't know yourself enough to understand, well, I know what is just general salesy fear-mongering, and I've heard it all before, and I know if something is really something I should pay attention to keep myself rationally safe in my life, or pay attention to in that way. But there's too much negativity porn out there. I'm tired of it. And I've noticed it comes with age. You learn that life's not that seriously. You take the serious stuff serious. You're prudent. You plan for the near future. Don't be reckless. Have a stable life. But life is not as serious as people make it out to be. Don't do this. The shocking truth about eating protein. The shocking truth about eating rice. This and that. It's kind of like 1 week it's healthy. Next week, what you were doing yesterday is going to send you to an early grave. It's just all enough. I don't care anymore. I'd rather trust my own newsreel going through my own head. Really, could we just for once stop dissecting every possible fucking negative detail? Anyway, why is this feed? Let me go top chat. Let me go live chat. Anyway, the chat feed is delayed by a really big amount. I don't know why. But anyway, let's go back here. Yep, okay. Yeah, look, be careful with the glib sayings, right? You can feel good about accurately describing how most women behave as a way of making yourself feel good by an injection of, serotonin or oxytocin. I can't remember which neurochemical it is. But don't let that be your mic drop. Things like this, Carl, like it's funny, and for the most part, I agree with you. Most Western women don't make any sense. They're emotionally driven. But don't let that be your mic drop and make yourself feel good. There is... Those of you with a sense of humor will understand the wisdom behind this. There is no point your philosophy being, I am better than shit in this context. Being better than shit is not a great ethical system to live by. Being better than neutrality, yeah, being better than the reasonable entry point of a good person. Say, for instance, it's very hard out there just to find a decent, kind, fair person that's rational, right? And everyone thinks, well, that's normal. It's not. That is almost... This is like the top 10% or 5% of people that you might find if you're lucky, let alone a romantic partner that has that. That's just the basic entry point that what our grandparents used to have mostly in life. It was like a 50-50. There weren't as many crazy entitled idiots out there. And now just to get the base entry level, the entry level of a relationship, a decent, fair, reasonable person who can honestly communicate how they feel, what they want, their inner world, their view of life and their ethics and morals, it's as rare as a snow leopard. And on top of that, say you find someone, and I've dated reasonable, well-spoken, all of the stuff, the entry level to a relationship, all of my previous long-term relationships were pretty much like that, more or less. The younger I was, the less that would happen. But later in my life, the majority of my long-term relationships, they were all pretty good, well-spoken, all that kind of polite, blah-de-blah, but they're not compatible. So the entry level is hard enough to find with friends and lovers. On top of that, are they compatible? That's like you're looking for not a needle in a haystack. It's like you're looking for a needle in our universe. So it's not easy, but the less you care about knowing what you want and communicating that to other people, have speaking better, writing things down, being interested in your spoken word, in, the stuff you would write down in a journal. You want to have that same sort of energy around people when you're communicating similar ideas about life and relationships and what you will and won't do and how you want to live. If you don't have that, and you're like, oh, I'll just be carried around along with the tide, I'll ride the wave of the red pill or manosphere or whatever. That'll take care of me, because there's a lot of people riding that wave. And if we fail, we all fail and wash up together. It's like, really? I'm not riding that wave. I did. Yeah, it's kind of safe, and it's a soft crash, but it gets you nowhere. You realize how much time you waste when you spend it in little bubbles of people who act like 5-year-olds. And the moment you quite politely say, no, I know we believe in this, but how about this? Do you ever think no? We have our church read from the Bible. Read from the Bible of feminism. Read from the Bible of manosphere. Read from the Bible of high-value male. Read from the Bible of stoicism. And anyway. Hey, Boffin, how are you? Well, it's not happening to me. I'm drinking coffee today. Oh, yeah. 90s were the best. Even Stephanie, being 15 years younger than me, she says the 90s were the best. It's funny because with Stephanie, she goes, oh, that was my childhood. That was like girl bands and cartoons as a kid. And I'm going, I like the 90s because that was my adulthood, early adulthood. Yeah. This is Alex Hormozy. Think about him what you want. It's the same with each one of these people who are notable, whether it's the Andrew Tates or Alex Hormozy or whoever else. Be astute enough to cherry pick the rational stuff that objectively that's why they got popular. They say some pretty good things. You don't have to buy them whole like an acolyte of a religion. That's most people's point. They don't know themselves, so they don't know how to dissect rational truths that can apply to them and that are useful. Most people just want to follow their followers. They can't even lead themselves. They can't even lead their own thoughts. Hey, Quaz. Cool cup of coffee. Quaz says, I don't really see it about negative or positive details. We sailors are negative fearmongers in the extreme, but some use that knowledge to come to cross oceans, others to make excuses. That's the rub. Yeah, but there's rational apprehension and rational, if you want to call it over-analysis. But when your life is on the line, I think that's sort of prudent and sensible. But these guys, where it just comes down to they're just afraid to talk to a girl, and then they'll say to the other guys around them, well, she's probably a this, and women, and 50% of women, so there's no point in me even going up to it. It's like, no, you're just chicken shit. You're just irrationally scared like a 5-year-old that is scared to look under his bed because there's something there, apparently. That's at the heart of it. That's what I'm talking about. There's irrational fear and there's rational prudence and analysis. I'd be on your camp with that, where the stuff about life where you're walking through tall grass in Australian bushes, poke the stick and take heavy steps to make sure you're not standing on a snake, rather than just being reckless. And again, I think people who think for themselves and who read books and who know how to think and know how to speak via the books they've read and their intellectual interest, they will know the difference between irrational fear and irrational, prudence or analysis. A lot of people, too many people online today, I think because of their childish inability to sit still and attention span, they're looking for black and white answers because they're quick and they don't have to think. Black and white can speak for you, generally in a true sense, whereas the nuance required to sit still and find out exactly what is right for you is the grey area you must sit in, have patience, read, not care about FOMO and your Instagram or YouTube feed, not care about what you're missing out on, and know what you need so you don't miss out on that. Know the still space. Like so many people I feel today, or rather than feel, know today, they are fine with missing out on a longer period of time in the grey space in the middle of the bell curve where the stuff you actually need for you, they're always clutching for the extremes, the fast-paced digital world of not missing out on the latest bullshit that fades after 5 minutes. So you're more than okay to let that book that's on your shelf that you never read keep slipping away into, eternity. And you'll rather take crumb after crumb after crumb of things that don't have any nutrition and let the thing with the most amount of nutrition for you die. And you wonder why you can't get a relationship with someone that sticks because you don't care about the stillness of the nutrition that is meant for you. I know there's a YouTube feed and a TikTok feed, but there's only so many hours in a day. And as was said here, where was it? They mentioned Alex Hormozy. Yeah. They talk about, unicorns, but all you need is one. Why do I need to get $5 from 500 people if I can get $500 from one person or 1,000 or not run around so much and just focus on one person? That was always my point with dating for commitment and long term, because I don't want to run around like a headless chook with woman after woman after woman after woman and feeling nervous all the time. I want to just relax. In the same way, I don't want to buy a new dog every week or every month because I want a new dog. As soon as my dog gets old, let me get a new dog. No. We all know the value of a dog is the sort of the long game. And so if you're going to have any quality of relationships, I think in terms of peace of mind and being able to do other things in your life that you did before you met Chicky Poo, it's the long relationship. Short-term relationships to me are just wasteful. They're fun here and there, like a holiday. But when you look at it, if you just travel your whole life, again, if you've got a mobile lifestyle where you can live your life in a mobile sense around the world, that's fine. But if you're always just putting on a different mask and living like the locals and you don't really know where home base is and what your lifestyle is, then I would say find out. Find out similarly what woman is for you. And if you're like, LOL, haha, human, no one does relationships anymore, we just have fun, you're the one that's stupid. It's like, really? Am I? Is my relationship that I've been with Stephanie for nearly 4 years now, is my one the risky one? What are the anxiety levels of me compared to you? Ask yourself that. You can laugh at me all you want because of what might happen to me in 5, 10 or 15, 20 years. But what might happen to you tomorrow, next week, every single day, with every woman you're chasing after? Who's got more anxiety? Who sits still? Who reads more? Who's got more depth in their life? Who goes deeper into specific areas? Or some guys out there, all they do is stay at the tepid, shallow area of rotate bimbo, rotate bimbo, rotate bimbo. Watch bimbo on YouTube. Look at the train wreck, look at the train wreck. I would say one mentality is like a 5-year-old at Comic-Con looking at bells and whistles and, bread and circuses. And the other person's more a mature person. Again, do what you want, your life. But Yeah, I know myself enough to know where, I want peace, tranquility, companionship, good friends. I don't need 500 friends. I need one, two, max. I don't need hundreds. In the same way, I don't need to rotate a mirage of 500 women. I need one. Yeah. I just need one unicorn. I don't care. Douglas says, I have to deal with conversation in my personal life. I have a big interest in wars around the world. A lot of times it became negative. So a big topic for me is kind of hard to find someone to talk to. Start a YouTube channel. When you get on, I'm pretty sure there's like groups on Discord or online where you can find interest groups everywhere. But I would say generate the kind of conversations you have. I've said before that I created my YouTube channel because I had no one to talk to in my real life about the relationships in the way and in the depth and philosophically the way I wanted to. I've been lucky enough through my channel to meet people that I can talk in the way I want to about relationships, like Quaz and Boffin and Karu and a couple of other people that I've met over the years. Because I just couldn't, and it's reasonable. You're born into the little speck of the world you're born into, and it's unfair to think you're going to have a pick of a lot of people to talk to. You can't force that kind of conversation. You just come off as weird. You feel, in my own personal life, even with Stephanie to a degree, I can't go to some of the depths I can go to with some guys or on a piece of paper, like really dive as deep as I can. And the people in your life, you just can't. And you need to seek out the release of those conversations where you can find them. And if you can't, generate them. And now with the internet, there's no excuse. Hey, I got Stephanie through the internet as well. Is my mic too loud? Just let me know, or is it okay? Thanks, guys. Hey, Karu, how are you? Yeah, it's easier to hide online. To be fair, you have a life compared to NPCs. Yeah, Quaz has curated a very, very intentional life for himself. Sounds like he's having fun. The conversations I've had with Quaz, he's not a complainer. That's a great conversation to have with somebody. All these people, you see a lot of them online in videos, they shout at you with the answers they have, with the courses they're so sure that they've written, with what they know for sure about every single woman and man out there. Yeah, you got to be astute enough to know who's worth following and who isn't, I guess. Let's see. Remember, if you would like to ask me a question, put 3 emojis like this example below my chin. 3 emojis right before your question, and I'll do my best to answer them. Let me have a read at some of the comments here and see if there's any question directed at me. Yeah, this is good. When I first found your content, I tended to scan through for specific advice. Yeah, this is the key. Scan. Don't be preached to. Don't just swallow it whole. Online information should be a buffet where you've got a plate and you know your taste and you know what medicine you need. You can pick it up and put it back. It doesn't mean you touch it, you bought it. You have to treat this stuff that's important to you, that you really would like to figure out because it can translate into your real life, your dating life, your personal life, your friendship, your goals and habits and whatever in your life that you want to improve or get better at, or basically cut something loose and go to something better. Treat it all like a buffet. I am happy for you and Stephanie, not just saying that we should uplift people. Yeah. It's all very nice to say, yeah, you're happy now, Bobby and Steph, but just you wait. You'll come running back and you'll start making a channel about why, people think that it's a guarantee that every guy is going to bring out a similar video in the future, like Alexander Grace, where he changes his tune completely. And that might well be right. I've nothing against him sort of realizing that he was wrong before and now he's changed his tune. I've changed my tune in a lot of ways and come forward. But every negative troll in the comments that has not grown or moved, they think they're certain. They think that what they knew when they were 18, 28, 38, 48, they're so perfect that they never need to grow. They've got a perfect set of memes that they can repeat and just stamp onto their life every day, regardless of what new opportunities can come. They're the kind of guy that is like, don't trust any woman, regardless of what they say. That's the stamp they stamp over every moment of their life. And then they might have a girl that's actually compatible for them. They're not a feminist. They are literally a very compatible person, if not the most compatible person they will ever come across in their life. But because they insist on stamping that kind of negative statement on every single person is going to be shrouded with this meme that I've got about them, then you'll never have a good conversation. They will appear to you like everyone else because you're too stubborn and childish to even investigate with a bit of conversation and open-mindedness. If you're so sure about a lot of this red pill stuff, then you shouldn't be afraid. Like, you should be able to talk to anyone about it until they're rude, and then you tell them to fuck off. But if you see someone's polite, what's the harm of having a conversation? What is the harm of me having a conversation with a feminist that's polite, well-spoken, and she's not abusing me or shaming me or not treating me like shit? What am I afraid of? If I really believe my morals and ethics, and this person is ostensibly really nice to talk to and interesting, and also from another point of view, don't forget that, an interesting conversation with, and I've had this with a 60s old school feminist. I remember a woman in her, now she'd be in her 60s, like late 60s, 70s. Best conversations, because we are talking about the exact same topics: men, women, rights, fairness, men and women, how they're different and the same, politics, how they're butting heads, how they're not getting along, offensiveness, things like that. Not from my echo chamber, for someone who's completely different, and I get a completely different viewpoint. And I can say, I never thought about that. You have a point, but have you ever considered this, lady? And she'll smile and say, well, yeah, you've got a point there too. And you can have such an interesting conversation, rather than I'm right, you're right because I'm right, and you're right because we're basically the same person, the same sect, reading from the same 10 Commandments. And we are just solipsistically blowing ourselves in the mirror. It's just stupid. You are not going to have an edifying conversation. It's not going to be interesting. This is why, even though the guys I speak to, they're all very different from each other, and we can all rationally learn to agree to disagree and be respectful, but we can learn different things and we can have enriching conversations. All the people I've had discussions with on my chat channel, some of which are here in the comments section on this stream: Quaz, Karu, Peg, and Boffin, and Rocket, and a lot of people I've had discussions with, a lot of guys in the past, in the old MGTOW era as well. You get a different person's point of view, different lifestyle, different upbringing. But now everyone wants to only be comfortable with a person that's exactly like them. And it's impossible. They weren't brought up in your neighborhood with your nationality and customs and school system and particular friends, and whether you were bullied when you were young at school or you weren't bullied. You had a great group of friends, whether you're brought up in a single parent household or not. You had a good father who taught you lessons or not, whether your mother was a narcissistic, terrible person. It's just so many variables, but everyone wants to feel safe via cookie cutter. And again, topic of this stream is negativity. We can all agree on being hyper negative at dangers. Well, yeah, you're right, human. That is dangerous. You've got to watch out for that. Yeah, you're right. You've got to watch out for that. Yeah, we're all right. We feel good now. But the moment you say, how about taking this chance? What about putting this effort in? I've got all my ducks in a row. Yeah, there's a level of risk in anything, taking a step forward in anything. There's less risk in standing still. Any step forward, even into a perfectly even if you take a step forward onto a perfectly good road with no cars anywhere, there's a level of danger, however small, in taking a step forward. So, yeah, I'm just tired of the circular conversations about everything that could go wrong. And every time I have better conversations about what to go towards, going my way to this and taking this calculated risk that I've planned and looked over and moved around in 3 dimensions, and I've seen every angle as best as I can. Being a perfectionist is just horseshit, especially when you've done enough due diligence where the only thing stopping you is just fear. All these guys proud of standing still. Well, I haven't made a mistake. They're my virtues. I've done nothing. Nothing bad has happened to me. High five. I'm a winner. You're a neutrality. And that's fine. But stop trying to... All these neutral people online that do nothing and have no courage to do anything for themselves, not for other people, for themselves, and wanting to put a gold medal around their neck, around each other. Hey, let's put gold medals around our own bullshit Olympics where we do nothing. You get a gold medal because nothing bad happened to you. You're a spectator in the crowd of the Olympics wanting to have a gold medal while you're watching people competing in the Olympics. You want their gold medal. You don't get it. Why don't I get a gold medal? I want to, look, I haven't done anything bad. Where's my gold medal? You don't get a medal for doing nothing. You don't. We admire people who've done stuff. If everyone got the results that effort required, we still wouldn't give each other medals, because the admirable thing requires a step, courage, effort, will, getting up, trying again. All the negativity on the internet is just so feminine to me. Just so schoolyard. This wooden bowl is actually, it rotates. It holds all my pens. Yeah, I bought 2 of them. It's really, really good. Yes, of course. That's why you like it. Wobble cam was cool. You mean last week's one? My my gimbal cam that I used. Yeah, that was cool. But at the same time, I think a few people were like, I don't know if I like it. Thank you. 2 people have noticed my monitor. Yeah, it's pretty, I don't think I can move it too much, but it's pretty big. Yeah, pretty big. Let's see. All right. Prince Revolver, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. He says, anxiety without a woman can be even worse than when you're with one if you choose to remain single, stagnant. It is always better to be single and happy than with someone and miserable. I agree with that, and it's just logic. Right? And as I said, I've been with polite, decent women, but incompatibility makes you miserable very quickly. Just like staying at a beautiful resort for too long makes you feel miserable as well. You just want to go home. You're constantly in your head and you beat yourself up. Everything you consume just makes it worse, yeah. Because when you're with an incompatible person, this needs to be said. When you're with an incompatible person, you can't share your inner world with them. And so you spend a lot of time compartmentalized on your own how you were when you were single. So when you're single, you spend time in your inner world. You let it out with your friends online who you can share your inner world with. I make videos about my inner world in my videos. But if I now have to hide that from my partner, not share it, and have a different life with them and split my personality, that's where you tear your brain apart and you feel miserable and lonely. You don't feel lonely when you can let out what's meaningful in your inner world with a person, when you can make it real and there's a nice feedback loop. That is real compatibility, when you can speak everything and say everything and share everything and be silly and be serious, and where there's no real filter. Yeah, there's some things where the other person might not be capable, but they're sympathetic and they understand you and they're not shaming you like this. You don't have to live separate lives. You don't have to keep certain things from your partner and walk on eggshells because Chicky Poo gets upset and she throws plates or she threatens you with this or that, and you don't have to act. So anxiety without a woman can be even worse than with one with you who chooses to remain stagnant. Yeah. And look, Stephanie and I can grow in the same direction, in similar ways, even if she happens to be into something different this week and I do as well, because we've got the same values. You know, we've been cemented to each other initially by the compatibility of our values and virtues, and that's how you know. Well, no matter how we change in our personal ways, like she's into this, and then she's into this, and then she's into that. We share all this stuff with each other. We're both creative people. We like similar things. We respect each other. So, but if you're with a person where you have to really live two different lives, where especially verbally and mentally, the stuff I'm excited about, I never share with her because she doesn't like it, gets angry, or she's not interested. I have to really release stuff I'm really passionate about elsewhere. That's not going to work. Even if your partner's not interested in it, I should be able to release everything to Stephanie, even if I know I'm into it more than she is. But she's sympathetically got an ear to it, and she's happy and likes that I let this stuff out. And similarly with her, there's stuff that she's really into that I like to listen to much more because it's her, because it's from her. Someone else, no. And the fact is, this is the difference. I wouldn't watch those YouTube videos, but I watch her talking about it. That's the only YouTube video on that topic I watch with full attention. It's because it's coming from her mouth. But I don't watch the same content on a video. That's the difference. But because it's her, I will watch it. Just like sometimes you watch certain YouTube videos because you like the personality of a person, but not really for the subject matter. It's a similar dynamic in a relationship where you're compatible with someone. It's the actual person that you're connected to, not so much the topics that they talk about. But you listen and you're involved because of them. And I think a lot of people, they don't think the them is very important. It's like they look good, I want to be with them, they're polite, they're kind, they speak well, they're mature, they're not an idiot. Great, lock it in, let's start a family. Let's get married. It's like, whoa, no. If you have an inner world that you can't share, and if you can't communicate everything from the silly side to the serious side, everything in between, if there's no filter between you, that's great. If there is, if there's areas you can't go to that you really want to, and you have to reserve them for other people, online, private sort of things, not a good sign, and it's your fault. It is. And I understand, like some people don't like being lonely, and it's like, well, out of everyone I've been around, this is the best person I've been around, but I can't share my inner world. Well, I understand there are not a lot of good or compatible people out there, but you can't just pick like, well, every other piece of shit out there smells. Well, this one smells the least. This is the best I can do because I'm lonely. Get used to liking your own life. There's a saying that if you're alone at home and you don't like your own company, I can't remember the saying, but there's a problem with that. There's a problem with you, not with company. Something like that anyway. Yeah, don't be with or without someone that you can't be with. Karu, why are you deleting Big Ol's messages? Are you... What did Big Ol say? Boffin says, spot on with the black and white observation. Black or white is often a low effort pathway to an opinion. Learning to effectively navigate the grey zone requires much time and effort. Yep. Douglas. It became common for many YouTube channels to name their video the video all men need to see, regurgitating the same thing about women. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, I much more respect if I'm going to name a video the thing all men need to see, in the comment, in the thumbnail, write the thing like, don't do this, or make sure you can talk to the woman you're with, or if you can't, whatever it is, make it clear what the argument is, not the clickbait of, it's like making a health video. It's like 5 things every person over 50 needs to hear, otherwise, everything's over. And it's like, drink lots of water, get enough sleep. It's like, oh, thanks for all the basics. Thanks for clickbaiting me into a few shekels from your AdSense. Yeah, participant trophy. Yeah, I don't care about that. You don't get a trophy for being a human being. Sorry. You don't get... A lot of guys just want a girlfriend, which is their trophy, just by being nice. No, that's just being a decent human being. That is the door you open to be considered as a partner. And then after that is getting to know them, talking, and seeing if you're compatible via conversation, time spent, and knowing how to relate to somebody else. Google third place medal meme. I don't know what that means. Friends. Hi, human. It makes my day watching a new video from you. Please keep up the good work. Yep. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys, when I make videos, do you guys prefer the ones where I'm walking around like a vlog and I make, I'll do the video on the topic out in nature and doing it more like a lighthearted vlog, or the ones recently where I've sat down in front of the camera and it's much more a presentation? Let me know down below. Or if you're here, let me know. This camera, let me know. Yeah, if you're constantly being negative, that will be your world too. You're primed with negativity. The first thing out of your mouth is negativity because that's what the muscle you're exercising. All the other stuff, it's slower to react, and you have to really make an effort to bring that forward. The thing you exercise the most is the thing that will be projected first as a reaction. Yeah. Compatibility today boils down to whatever makes you feel good, yeah. And justifying whatever makes you feel good. It's been said before in terms of science that often we don't make decisions. We think we make decisions on the spot. We just like what we like, and then we cognitively just justify our biases to get what we want. And a lot of guys and girls, but we'll talk about guys because I'm a guy and this is most of my audience are men. A lot of guys just like the hot chick and what they notice and what they go wow to. And then they just spend their time justifying what they wanted initially anyway. And they'll go on dates and red flags will pop up and they'll be like, haha, oh, well, that's a bit funny, but yeah, it's not a big deal. She hasn't really abused me yet. She hasn't thrown a plate at me. She hasn't really come out with a hard feminist statement that's really dangerous. But she's just been a typical entitled girl. But all women are like that because in the manosphere, we just say all women are like that. So that's all we have to pick from. And you'll start excusing everything where if they're not necessarily visually the kind of girl that really is a 10 out of 10 attractive to you, you would have actually objectively pushed back on her negative traits and her negative ways of speaking. The hotter the chick, the more guys excuse her. And I'm sure it's the same with women, the way they react to some sort of bad boy or type or the guy that sort of stimulates and makes her tingle, and the kind of girls that stimulate guys and makes him tingle and wants to sort of provide and protect. They will excuse everything because there's the impulse also of guys treating every girl they want like their daughter. There's this really close, weird connection to that. Like a lot of guys will treat their women like they do their future daughters that they want to have. And maybe it's because I never wanted children that I don't like childish behavior in women. And I really had struggles and fights, and I really didn't tolerate that well with ex-girlfriends. And they couldn't understand why I was making such a big deal about just generic human female emotional behavior when they were acting like they just wanted what they want. And I know I said left, but I meant right, and you should know that's what it means, and you're being too pedantic about this human. And it's like, no, you lied, or stop telling me you want this when you want that, and you're saying it's my problem. And yeah, I find it hard to accept game playing and irrational behavior because I know in the reverse, everyone has a right to not tolerate that from me. And they're correct. I should be more direct. I should be more honest. I should say what I mean. I should keep my promises. I know what's more noble and honorable, what that looks like. But just because women get a pass in a lot of that, it's not acceptable. Not in today's day and age, I'm sorry. Maybe that's why I married a Dutch woman. Maybe that's a very glib answer to everything. Go marry a Dutch woman. Yeah, clown world. I know. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't think. In some ways, the real reality, you want to manifest intent to be real and what works for you. Yeah, it's very easy today because everyone just lives here. They just got their head down, and so this is their world. So yeah, it's understandable. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand why more and more people don't know how to relate and just do basic human being. They just find it impossible. Wherever you spend your time, that's the relationship you're cultivating. Whatever muscle you exercise, that's what grows stronger. The videos you watch, the time you spend online behind this black mirror, that's what you get conditioned by. And today, you have to make an effort just to read a book. You have to make an effort to get up early and have a routine that's healthy. Prince Revolver says, vlog style. Cool. Yeah, I miss doing more vlog stuff. I want to do that more. Yes, out in nature. Cool, okay. Do you need to be yourself? Robbie likes both. Walks about are fun. Okay. All right. And you're in... That's good too. So people like both, so I might just mix them up depending on how I feel. The ones I do just sitting in front of the camera, scripted, are pretty, they're tighter and easier to do. But I just realized I've been recording this through OBS up until now. Why am I doing that? All right. Any final questions? We've been going for over an hour. This has just been a very easy. I don't even think I've. I have touched on this a fair bit. I've just been rambling as per usual. But let me know your thoughts. Yeah, this is actually a good point. Let me go on this. Luke said in an old comment, you will never be good enough for the wrong person or people. Ask me anything concerning your future and I can actually tell you if it worked out or not. Your time with them does come to an end. Oh, he's just like giving me like bits of wisdom. No, she was not there, not the one for you. Believe me, I really tried to make it work. You're not going through more than you realize it's going to hurt, but we always make it through. If you are afforded such time. Yeah. Wessel says, I would tell my younger... Okay, let me just... I would tell my younger self that it is not meant for I was not meant for the traditional path or career, a big house and a marriage family, and that he will be happy the most when eventually he's not in a relationship. You find out who you are through experience, because, you know, sometimes these things, you've got to be honest with this as well. Like, say when you can say, I was never meant for a relationship when you get older and you've had failed relationships. But if you accidentally, when you were more naive, when you're younger, you found someone accidentally compatible with you rather than, you know, more maturely and with wisdom and experience. Say you accidentally came across someone who was raised well, decent, polite, and also compatible with you, and you both grew together, then you're meant to be with them, I suppose. So all this talk of what was meant to be and whatever, it's nice. It's a nice salve to, you know, make you feel better, because that's actually what happened. But in time, as you go forward, you just need to try to be better and be more courageous through time so you can waste less, regret less, and get to feeling comfortable with your life sooner. So there's some luck in coming across the right person, but the more you know yourself and the less lazy and more courageous you are, the quicker you know yourself and the less time you waste, and you will be where you're supposed to be with or without a person. But the more naive you are, the longer it takes, and the lazier you are, the more nihilistic you are, the longer it'll take. And for some people, they never get there because they're stubbornly static. It's just easy not to move. If you don't have an interest intellectually or improving your life, some people can live with a lot of bullshit. Everyone has got different levels. So you could have a leaky faucet. You could have a broken air conditioner. And to you, it's like, it's broken. I'm just going to open the window. And you could just subsist with a lower level. If you just kind of grit through it and go, let me just fix the air conditioner. Let me just do this. And then later on, it's the cliche of, I wish I got off my ass sooner. But the longer you let it go, the harder and more impossible it gets to fix these things. And you'll get old and you know you can't actually fix things anymore. You can't fix the health problems you've let slide for too long. The air conditioner can't be fixed anymore. You live in a shithole. Your neighborhood's gone to shit. You're too old and you can't get a job anymore. There's just all these things, and you can blame the world for it. But most things are your fault. Sorry, most things are. Most things were my fault as well. You'll get people in the comments saying, but human, this happened to me and I lost my kids. It's like, okay, I know the extremes where it's less your fault or almost completely it's the other person's fault. But 95% of the time, it's our fault. It is. It really is our fault. Buy a drum set and stay away from vodka. That sounds like a very personal thing. Iron Badger. Don't drink. Learn to communicate with people you trust. Yeah. And you'll want to communicate with people you trust if you have half a brain, because they're the people you want to have conversations with. Yeah, this is true here. Sean C says, most walk and talk videos are much better from my perspective. Melee says, brush your teeth. Really? My teeth are pretty good. I brushed my teeth this morning. Yeah, men try reverse engineering women. This is actually a good analogy. A lot of us who love fixing and working out problems like detectives, going back to how it started and looking at the whole thing and learning from it, that's great. But we try and do that when we're in the relationship with someone where you should go back, realize you can't fix this, and the person needed to be someone different to be able to fix it to the point you're at. But you can't. You can only justify things. Men excuse average women just as much, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Silva says an average woman that shows interest gains a couple points, yeah. A lot of things where men talk, women won't do this, women don't want to do this unless you're a high-value man. If a girl actually genuinely likes you, she innately is attracted to you, she likes you, you can talk with her, you make her feel safe, she'll do things she never did for other guys. And I'm not just talking in the bedroom. I'm talking open up, feel safe. If she doesn't feel safe, she's going to put a wall up and she's not going to talk openly. And you'll sense that. If you're a guy who knows themselves well, you know what conversations you want to have, you'll notice when a person's resisting conversation with you. Blah, blah, blah. Melee says, we need to be careful what we normalize in the manosphere, like all women are this and that. Yeah. It's just an easy, it's such low resolution advice. All women are like this. Yeah, most women in the West are like this. And it's like, I'm so smart, I don't even need to. I can judge people just by looking at them. You sound like one of these chicks that is like, I just know this because I feel it. I know it just by looking at it. Really, you know more than the civilized application of language, listening, speaking, vocabulary. You know more than that. Emotion is a better primal instinct. Like you got some magical abilities to just look at something and know what it is. To me, that kind of female bullshit in male spaces is like the women that just like, I just knew. Yeah, really? Did you? Did you really, sweetheart? Oh, I didn't say anything, but I knew she wasn't for you at the start, but I didn't say anything. Yeah, why? You didn't know. All your feelings and signs and stuff can just go out the window. I don't know. Logic, speaking, communication, it might be boring for people who are overly romantic and they love all these signs and magical spells, and if I'm a high-value male, no woman can resist me. Yeah, you can get a lot of shallow women that you can't talk to and vice versa. But you won't get anyone you trust. Not really. You'll get people to the degree that you can maintain the artificial status, money, power to people who are empty. Try talking to them about deep things. And you'll justify it to yourself saying, well, I don't need the hot bimbo who's sitting next to me in my convertible to speak intelligently. I've got my buddies. Fair enough. But if you're going for a drive with empty-headed chickie poo and you don't say a word, I can't see you enjoying your time with empty-headed bimbo that you can't respect if you have to spend more than 5 minutes with her. How smart are you? But again, as I love saying, it's your life, do what you want. Trust the force, human, yeah. This is styles of video. I asked people what they prefer, vlog or studio videos. Both styles of communication are good and informative. I like the artistic input of your earlier stylized videos and your nature videos as well. Yeah, I kind of miss doing them. They take a bit more preparation, a bit more editing and work, but I think the value of them is good. And it's also mixing them up. Yeah, Stephanie, babe, just message me and tell me I'm rambling. Prince Revolver says, it's worse when you don't cultivate personal relationships in real life. Now you're stuck with people you can't relate to online. Yeah. And you don't know why, I think. You bust up with someone in your fantasy world online, your curated bullshit political world online, and you don't really know why it happened because you didn't really have a sense of them. Yeah, how do you make sense of an echo chamber where you're no longer invited or you don't want to spend time there? It's just kind of weird. I wouldn't know how to make sense of it. Human, did you research the book I recommended last time, The Tibetan Book of the Dead? No, I've got it written here. I haven't had a chance to, sorry, but I have it here in my notepad. Not yet, Ronan. Astrology will help you get any woman you want. Just look to the stars. All right. Any final comments? If you are here live, we have a 30-second to 1 minute delay. I'll let any final comments or super chats. I'll let you guys handball them to me. And other than that, then we'll call it a day and I'll enjoy the rest of my Sunday and you can enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Sunday afternoon here, midday, 12:30 p.m. midday on Sunday, the 8th of December. I will be going on a holiday, a trip to see Stephanie's family in a couple of weeks. So from the 19th to the 10th of January next year for a couple of weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks, I will be on vacation in Spain, in Valencia, and I'll be back after the new year. Thanks, babe. Ramble away. All right. Oh, really? Is this a joke in the red pill space? I don't watch much red pill stuff, if any. Every now and then, a clip comes across, maybe from Better Bachelor or someone else that I consider an okay guy, but solely because of their personality and what kind of person they are. Not so much that I listen to the content because I find it, I just find it elementary in the sense that I don't think I'm better, but I think that it's like I've heard it 100 times before. And there's only so many times you can point out the obvious of bad people. It's kind of like if horror movies were real life, I couldn't just watch another real train wreck. What am I getting from it? I know what it looks like. Prince Revolve says, last comment, biology plays a part in it, but men should know why they want a woman or why they're with said woman besides biology. Yes, I've said this a lot. Know why you hate someone, know why you love someone, know why you respect. I could rattle off many things, many virtues and values that are the basis upon which I love Stephanie and why I'm with her and why I committed to her and why I enjoy spending time with her and why I can talk to her and stuff like that. Not just, well, we just vibe. To me, that would be eggshells. I have no idea why we're together. Let's just keep doing this, and may the gods not throw a wrench in this, because I have no idea. You know the guys that say, I have no idea why I'm with you. I feel really lucky. And they kind of grovel and they just feel like they're just grateful to be with their partner, and their partner is somehow, they could do better, but I'm just lucky. You need to know why you love your partner. Oh, babe, the kids are at the front door. I think they want the ball. So if you can open the front door. But anyway, not my kids, the neighbors. They kick a ball over the fence, and we have to keep getting it. Let's see. All right, I think we're done. Stephanie's opening the door, I think. Is she? Yeah, she is. She hates opening the door. Stephanie hates kids more than I do. I've got to remember, I used to knock the basketball over the fence of my neighbor when I was growing up. I used to have a ring in the driveway, and I used to bounce off and go to my old neighbor's yards. And my mum always reminds me that I used to be irritating like that too. So anyway, all right, guys. I think I've rambled on enough about not talking negatively so much. And I know that negativity online sells and it stimulates our survival instinct. That's why everyone loves to make these clickbaity videos about going, oh my God, you need to watch this video because of this danger. You need to know this. Do I really? And then you watch the video and it's just some basic shit, or a life that it's not a danger because you don't live that life and you don't go anywhere near it. Anyway, all right. I think we are kind of done. Silva says, have a good trip to Valencia. Yeah, they had a flood recently. So, yes, hot in Australia. It's been hot this last week or so. Today looks okay. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Sunday with Stephanie. And the rest of you enjoy your Saturday evening in the US and Sunday everywhere else. And those of you in Europe that are still up, go get some sleep. It's the middle of the night. And I will see the rest of you in the next stream or video during the week. Have a good one. Leave your comments down below. And yeah, this was fun. Have a good one, guys.